This was just a random Jon Stewart talking to this guy. I don't even know who the guy was. I mean, I know who he is now, but I didn't. And he's a British, I guess, a satirist and publisher or something like that. And they just something he happened to say that stuck in my mind. And then, then I've been thinking more about the anti-fan grift, and like, it's a grift, but it's also a political thing. And like, so trying to put into context, kind of make those lock together, and like, what is it? Just trying to understand it in a comprehensive way, right? Been doing this 3 years, and that feels like the last bit of thing that I didn't fully understand, right? Like why they are doing this politically and as a grift, and like what's priority to them and stuff, and so on. And it's like, I think I understand it now. And this was what he said that stuck in my mind.
Such an outsized figure.
Yeah.
But the groundwork for Trump has really been laid in our country for the past 40 or 50 years.
Yeah.
And it is that the right wing very explicitly decided, and this is in the 70s and 80s after Nixon was taken down, and Roger Ailes, who ran Fox News for a long time, was Nixon's advisor. They explicitly stated, we need to control the narrative so that what happened to Nixon could never happen again to another Republican. And they built parallel structures of authority in news, in institutions like universities, in think tanks, almost to shift to this other track, the facade that they could build on the side.
And so I'm kind of obsessed with this right now. I'm just going to show the graphic too, because I'm kind of proud of it.
It's all great. It's great stuff.
So here, the purple line is just the status quo, right? Like that's how things generally, like it says here, center right, slowly angling to the left over time. Most people generally got their, local news, NBC, CBS, CNN came about in the 80s and so on. There was a generally agreed upon history and reality. Generally scientific consensus was, secularism was, although there's a lot of Christianity in the culture and stuff, there's generally government and such was secular. And then, mainstream media and pop culture, everybody shared the same right? And then there was this nexus point, as I called it, because I love sci-fi terms, where the Cold War ended, the Republican Party kind of fucking was in disarray. And, this is the late 80s, early 90s. Things like Rush Limbaugh and AM radio became a big deal. Murdoch launched Fox News. Roger Ailes, as Jon Stewart just said, was worked for 3 different Republican presidents. It was kind of just a pretty insidious fucking propagandist. They started operating based on John Birch Society propaganda, which, presumably had been kind of excised from the conservative, movement in the 40s or 50s. But no, there a lot of the ideas that John Birch Society perpetuated were like conspiratorial thinking, sensationalism, outrage, inflaming racial bias, painting everything that even just the Democrats, not even the left, as like radical communist crazy shit. And so that stuff started getting implanted and building this parallel structure of social authority and news media. So then things started to diverge, right? And then we get, around here, and obviously this is not exact, but you get the idea. And then you had the housing market collapse. Obama was elected, which, really kind of cracked open the racism problem in the U.S. As far as like, I didn't think it was that bad. I don't think a lot of people did.
No, I didn't think it was that bad.
And then the Citizens United, that really fucked us. Which, if you don't know what that is, that's when the Supreme Court decided, no, actually corporations are people and they should be able to donate, money, and you end up with dark money, essentially. If you don't know what dark money is, look it up. There's a really good book on it by Jane Mayer. And then there was this study that came out that projected that by, I think, 2050, white people were going to be the minority in the U.S. Right? At the same time, you had social media becoming the thing. So then you had dark money influencing campaigns, as well as think tanks, libertarian-funded think tanks like the Koch brothers, right? that are coming up with ways that they can manipulate information and manipulate voters and so on and so forth. And then pretty soon after that, you started seeing, kind of results of that to a degree. Gamergate, I do believe, was separate from general politics, specific politics at first. But as Steve Bannon has admitted, he intentionally weaponized that, which was kind of corralled into what became the MAGA movement. And then you had anti-SJWs on YouTube. That was where a lot of the shit that we deal with now was born. And the alt-right. And then, there you go. There's your result. So if you think about it like this, anti-fandom is just the fandom version of that on this track. And what is the purpose of that? So when Trump was elected in 2016, they kind of they basically want to get the train on their track to where it could never go back. Right? Is this making sense? Okay.
Yes.
Somebody said it's awesome. That's good. Because when I'm doing, I'm like, do I look like Charlie Day from, the meme where he's like, Pepe Silva.
Hey.
And whenever he lost in 2020. That's probably a good bit of the reason why they had encouraged such a crazy fucking fervor that people stormed the Capitol on January 6th, because basically they saw their moment slipping away. Like we were on the track. We had our train on our track, and there was nothing and then we lost, and they fucking couldn't handle it. And they're still desperate. So basically what we're experiencing right now is a fucking existential fight to keep them from putting the train of reality and the future on their goddamn track. And that's why Eric July, that's why Geeks and Gamers, that's why all these people lie unashamedly, and they don't care if they're called on it. They will just triple down, make crazy claims against people that call them out on it, that it doesn't matter to them, because that's not what their fucking goal is. Their goal is not facts or honesty or anything. Their goal is, to create a reality that is just their values or lack thereof, rather.
I can only think of one thing to say about that.
This is a question that gets talked about a lot. Anywhere. People make a big deal out of it. They're like, I can start reading manga at this point, whatever. With comics, I don't know where I start on, Batman #1 from this year, Batman #1 from that year, or whatever. And it's like, you can start anywhere. People want to make it more complicated than it is. My first comic was Silver Surfer number 65. It was right before or right after Thanos Quest, I believe, which was kind of a lead up to Infinity Gauntlet. And he's talking about, all this space stuff and Thanos, and I had no idea any of this shit, and I still loved it. If you're wanting to read comics and you're wanting to just never have a question about what's going on, you're gonna have a bad time. You're not gonna do too well. I didn't have Wikipedia. I'm gonna be the old man real quick, so forgive me, but back in my day, we didn't have countless YouTube videos and Wikipedias and entries and stuff telling us wherever. You just open a comic and then you read it and go, I don't know what he's talking about there, but this is cool. If you're interested in comics and you're curious, to me, that's exciting. I don't understand that type of mentality that's like, I started reading it and I don't know what's going on. And it's like, are you interested in the character? Are just, open yourself to not knowing everything about this and then wanting to learn more. Hello and welcome. You guys ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm not ready. You still gotta sit through the intro. That was actually more padding to I apologize. If you've been watching a while, you know how Fridays can be for me. Yeah. So I'll be actually live here in just a few minutes. Get to sit through my new intro first, okay? We haven't done this specific brand of intro in a while because we haven't done this type of stream in a while. So here you go. I'll be back in just.
How do you do, fellow kids?
The other one, Not Organized Chaos.
Actual fandom.
here's the thing. Okay.
I vaguely know who actual fandom is.
Hey, motherfuckers.
The journey that we choose as fans. You know, everything's just not always going to be great. And when it's great, you got to celebrate the hell out of it. But when it's not, you just move on to some other shit. It's like the easiest thing in the world.
The greatest mob the kingdom had ever seen gathered at the gates of the castle, demanding the young woman's head. And the king and queen, desperate to stay on their shiny throne, finally gave them what they wanted.
His view on this situation is that he's annoyed that this occurred, and he's even more so annoyed with the outcome, calling the Disney showrunners cowards for bowing down to the cult's demands. Now's a good time to show this clip of the drinker talking about the mob mentality in a positive light when he happens to agree with their demands.
But it's like they put that in the trailer, they showed that stuff, and the reaction was apocalyptic. Like, fans absolutely lambasted the game as ridiculous, and it sold terribly as a result. You know, so these things can happen. The backlash works in some cases.
The truth is, the drinker has created a boogeyman. The modern audience is a malleable, fluid catch-all that he can blame in any and all situations. But most importantly, it's a boogeyman that his audience loves to hate. Each time he mentions the modern audience, he adds some reverb, he says it slowly, and he throws in this 7-year-old video of a screaming woman, which is synonymous with the triggered woke SJW millennial. And with that, he allows his viewers to put their own meaning onto it. That loser-triggered lib encompasses everything the individual viewer hates, and without having to say it, the drinker has made the perfect point that just so happens to align exactly with that viewer's existing ideology. Modern audiences ruined my movies means anything the viewer wants it to. Peter Dinklage publicly criticised Snow White for reinforcing negative stereotypes of people who have dwarfism. And because of this, the drinker declares that Dinklage has no sense of humour. And now, because of Dinklage's comments, the 7 dwarves have been altered to intelligent engineers instead of comedic relief.
The dwarves that were used for comedy effect in the original have been reworked into highly efficient, intelligent, and disciplined underground engineers. Why? Because apparently we can't depict little people on screen in a way that could be even vaguely interpreted as negative.
I can't find any information on whether this is true or not, but this is coming from the critical drinker, the same man who gets upset when straight white men are depicted as buffoons.
Can't have men in sort of positions of power. We can't have like traditional strong masculine men in lead roles anymore. And if you ever get a character like that, they almost always become the butt of a joke.
Isn't it funny how the only 2 male characters in this film are either portrayed as weak and pathetic or dumb and comical? Just something to think about. And of course, all the jokes are at the expense of the male characters.
The white guy is Fred, who's now the butt of every single joke. He's an idiot. He can't do anything for himself. All that stuff, and it's like a parody.
Here's a crazy idea. We're going to make fun of all the male characters in our movie and just make them into bumbling morons. Because, like, apparently, in the eyes of modern Hollywood, a straight white male is not allowed to be, like, just a hero. He's not allowed to be good at anything. And he's not allowed to just do something genuinely inspiring and heroic.
It's interesting how he can understand the feeling of wanting positive representation when it comes to straight white men, but he can't afford that same sympathy to minority groups. I guess those minority groups should just accept that they are comedic relief and step aside and let the straight white men be the heroes.
Here at AF, we work hard to make sure we've got the facts to back up every accusation of chuddery, that we're entertaining every time we spotlight some fascistic fuck, film fandom flimflamer, culture vulture, Star Wars swindler, or comics con man. And by we, I mean me. And while I'm certainly not doing it for money, I do need to buy a new PC soon for continued editing and streaming. That's why I want to express my deep gratitude to my support on Patreon from dopest members like William, Michael, and Smirking Gun. That's not to say that the members at the chillest and basest tiers are any less appreciated. But even if you can't swing it, you can follow me for free on Patreon and still get some exclusive content and opportunities to chat directly with me. YouTube makes us give every ounce of ourselves. Sometimes it feels like we're being milked dry. Support at any level is hits. Look, here's the thing.
It's the ever-loving blue-eyed thing. It's clobbering time.
Oh, we starting. Just a minute. Just like everything they talk about, there may be some like a kernel of truth to things, but the reasons for it are not what they say. So like,
No.
Talking about legacy characters and all, taking one character and now you got another one that's kind of another version. One of the reasons, the main reason they do that is because for one, comic book creators don't want to create new characters and give them to fucking Marvel and DC. How many decades have we seen what happens whenever that happens, right?
They don't get paid.
Ed Brubaker talking about he didn't get paid shit for Winter Soldier, and it goes on and on. So like that's what they do in order to just, because how are they going to create characters that they can already own the IP to? And you know what I mean? It's a corporate fucking thing. There are problems with the corporatism of Marvel and DC, absolutely. But these guys then taking it and pointing it at basically essentially saying that it's because wokeness and because leftist progressive ideals and shit like that. It's like, hold on, man, you're not only fucking being a bigot in a lot of cases, you're not even addressing the fucking problems that really exist. Let's fucking go. God damn, this intro is forever. Who made this? Jesus fucking Christ. Let's fucking go. Yeah, we're gonna start as soon as the intro's over. I wanted to see if is my camera doing the thing? Is it doing the thing? So I've been having problems with my camera, in the sense that it just every once in a while will just go fucking do a little glitch. So just wanted to make sure. Oh, there it is. Great, great. Thank you. You did it twice for me. Thank you for confirming that immediately. I appreciate that. Man. What were you trying to call Trump Hitler or something, man? Come on. Get real. Get real, you radical leftist, you. Wow. So, do I look like I've been touched up? Like, because there's actually a feature in StreamYard here, and I figured I'd try it out and just it's like, do a touch up feature. And you like slide the little lever. Do I look like glamorous or youthful or what? Hmm? All right. Anyway, enough with the bullshit. Hey, and welcome. This is Actual Fandom. My name is Dane. And this is a type of stream we haven't done in a little while. But it's gonna be when I feel the need to do it. And I think we're probably gonna be doing it more often throughout the rest of this year. Something tells me it's necessary. Yeah, so around here, if you're new to it, we talk about comics, we talk about movies, we talk about personal growth, and even things like personal accountability and shit, because that's the thing that I believe in. You know what I mean? That's crazy, right? I'm some radical Antifa leftist, and I believe in being personally accountable and responsible for things. That's crazy. No, I do believe in those things. I think you have to believe in those things. I think that anybody that tries to say that everything is just a product of other external circumstances is full of shit, and I wouldn't trust that person because they take no personal responsibility. Anyway, so yeah, last night was a weird stream. We had to do it, man. Had to do it to him. In case you missed it, which a lot of people haven't, because it's a very, very watched stream by now. I guess one of the head mod of the Geeks and Gamers community on Reddit was he was banned for I guess he was making some inappropriate, potentially groomerious, I'm gonna say that's a word now, comments to a minor underage person, which is not good. Don't do that. I mean, I shouldn't have to tell you, but some people still do it, so maybe it's worth repeating, I guess. And I just thought that was interesting because these are people that throw out that accusation against gay people, and then like people who are like, hey, gay people are cool, and they're like, well, you're a groomer too. And yet it's often that the groomer call is coming from inside the house. And considering those guys have defended like Andrew Tate, they're big Andrew Tate fans, who's actually, about Andrew Tate. Well, they're fans of his, and there's a clip I have somewhere of like Jeremy Griggs just like legit laughing as Trump was talking shit on the woman that had just that same day successfully sued him in civil court for rape. He is, and for all, legally, or at least civilly, rather, he is a rapist. He was found liable as a rapist in civil court. And that same day, that night, if you remember, Trump did some kind of fucking talk about it, where he was doing a town hall thing or something. I don't know. And he was really like being really fucking gross, because what else does a guy do? Well, he doesn't know how to do anything else. And he was downplaying it all and everything. And Jeremy Griggs is just on stream laughing so fucking hard, dude. So hard. Like, and I wish I would have remembered to show that clip last night. I might have to turn my camera off. Damn. But yeah, so just everything about those guys is what I ended up coming to last night is don't trust your kids around them, or don't trust them around your kids. That's what it is. Don't trust any kids. If you ever see a child near them, even if it's their child, you just run and take that child. I'm kidding. I mean, I know Griggs lives in Florida, so I mean, let me ask you. Do you think that the actual PDF file count per capita is higher in Florida than other states? kind of feel like it has to be, right? Like, it's worth looking into, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so this is Comics versus Fascism. What we do here is exactly what the title suggests. We look at the long history of comic books, superhero comic books in particular, but not necessarily exclusive to that, as we're going to see tonight. And their relationship to the concept, the governing doctrine, philosophy of fascism. You go back to the beginnings of the superhero comics, which are the beginnings of comics as far as comic books. And anti-fascism is right there. Superman, got a video on my channel. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. Superman, his first, run of comics was very much, today they would call it radical leftist, because he was, people that were getting kicked out of their, getting their rent hiked and stuff like that and getting kicked out. He was going and beating up the slumlords and shit. He went and broke some kids out of like a juvenile jail prison camp or something like that. Things like that. He beat up domestic abusers. And, bear in mind, this was before Superman was like powerful enough to like obliterate someone's head if he flicked them. So him beating people up wasn't such a murder charge. Oh, is that right? Marked no on rape and yes on sexual abuse and yes on defamation. So what is... So, okay, so he didn't... Are they considering rape as like literally like he did not penetrate her with his penis? It's so fucked up to have to even talk about that, because he definitely like... Anyway. Yeah, the war influenced comic books big time. Like big time. They're intrinsically linked. And to prove that, I've got this. I figured I'd read a little bit of it just to kind of give you an idea. Because I talked about him recently as far as Jack Kirby and commies. Oh no. Oh God. You're here. And you're queer. Get used to it. Haha. By the way, speaking of Morgan and speaking of me, on Sunday, Babcast is back. Yeah. And it's you could say that it's kind of a sister episode or whatever, sibling episode to this one, because well, I'll show you. I'll feed you baby birds. We're going to be talking about an individual on Sunday who is essentially a living flesh and blood X-Men villain. And we'll make that case for you so that you know exactly what we mean by that. But he's a guy who he flies under the radar a lot. He doesn't get talked about nearly as much as he deserves, considering the outsized impact that he has had on, democracy and like the future of humanity. You know what I mean? And that's Chris Rufo. He's an IRL X-Men villain. He's a big old piece of shit. He's basically Dr. Stasis. If Dr. Stasis didn't know how to wear cool costumes, because let's be honest, if you're reading any of the Krakoan stuff, the Fall of X stuff, you know about Dr. Stasis, he kind of fucking dresses like a pimp. It's pretty awesome. Other than that, he's a huge piece of shit, but he's cool to look at. Yeah, we're probably gonna mention those guys as well. The Right, Graydon Creed, and then what's his name? Reverend Stryker, the OG. Man, that camera's really shitting on me, huh? Damn it. I guess I will. I was really hoping to get through this one without having to turn the camera off. Is that bothering you guys? Are you noticing that when it does it a lot? Because I'm sure fucking noticing it out of the corner of my eye. Anyway, yeah, this guy is like, here, I'm going to read you a couple of quotes real quick, just so you know how brazen this motherfucker is with this shit. If you're not familiar with him, you're gonna want to be. So, okay, I mean, this is the one that's just like I told Morgan here. I said this is astonishing when I read this quote. So he said that his goal, a few years ago anyway, and you can decide for yourself how successful he's been, was to put all the various cultural insanities under the brand category of CRT, critical race theory, and to have the public read something crazy in the newspaper and immediately think critical race theory. Like, this guy is an open, unapologetic, unashamed propagandist to the highest order, and which is very much what Dr. Stasis is, except Dr. Stasis at least has the fucking decency to like not be open about it, I guess. We'll talk about it Sunday, but be there. It's gonna be fun. Doctors, I mean, something about that sinister bloodline, man. They are real pieces of shit, but they know how to dress. I mean, even Mother Righteous, Anyways, so today we're going to be talking about issue number 2 of a comic book that we looked at, issue number 1, and that video is up on the channel from a few months ago. We looked at it on stream, and then I uploaded eventually as a shorter video, edited down and stuff. A live review of 1/6 number 1 was what that was. And as numbers go, we're now going to be doing, you guessed it, 1/6 number 2. Number 2. Sorry. I couldn't help it. I could, but I just didn't. I didn't help it. I had to let that number 2 come out. What is wrong with me? What the fuck? I'm an adult man in my fucking, age that I am. Okay? Yeah, right? Like, I mean, he said anything basically. Like, I'm sure he'd be happy if it was just not even race related. But he didn't stop there, by the way. CRT is just where he kind of like got started to a degree, and then he moved on to queer people, trans people in particular, but queer people in general. He's really, really, when you think about it, like, without someone like Chris Rufo, the MAGA movement wouldn't have been able to get very far. Because there's a lot of people that will just blindly just go, God damn this camera, man. I'm sorry. There's a lot of people that would just blindly go with whatever Trump said, sure, but like, there's some people that do need to have some underlying framework of what they believe is a valid ideology, and they need to, instead of just having vague phantoms thrown at them to be scared of, they need some kind of, there's some kind of text, something that they can really read and like feel like they're smart as they learn about it, so that they can also be afraid of nothing, phantoms. But people are different that way, and so I think that's the point that Chris Rufo serves, and we're going to get into that more on Sunday. I'm sorry I shouldn't be talking about that now, but let's look a little bit at 1/6 number 1 just to kind of refresh what we're doing. Cool. Oh, by the way, I forgot. I mean, I didn't forget, but yeah, I kind of did. Empty Mitch is going to be on in just a little bit. Empty Mitch is the elusive Empty Mitch. We've been trying to get him for a while now. He apparently lives in like the shadow dimension or something, and his window into our realm doesn't stay open for very long, and it doesn't open very frequently. So we got him. In fact, I need to send him the link in just a minute, because I'm a brilliant stream host, and what I decided to do is get a guy. He doesn't know comics. He doesn't read comics, and I said, you know what? That's my guest for tonight. we're talking about comics, and he doesn't know anything about it. And I told him that's okay, because it is. Because really what we're talking about tonight isn't as much about comics as it is, the other thing. This real life situation that has been become a thing. So one moment, please. What the hell did I do with it? I don't know. Here we go. Okay, so this is the cover for 1/6, number 1. And we can get into the creators and who created it and stuff in a little bit, but so it's a what if, essentially. It's what if the attack on the US Capitol succeeded. And when I first happened upon this in like wherever I saw it, and I was like, oh God, and at first I wasn't sure, what angle is this from? Is this like a fantasy of some fucking, comic skater basically that made this? No, it's not that. It's the other thing, the good one. And so you can see here, that's that's the imagery that was like, okay, I'm intrigued now. You got the gallows here that they showed up with there on January 6th, 2021, and then you got some feet dangling, and then right here, oh, that's like a button that says the office of vice president or something. I wonder why that's hanging there. And then, oh, I get it. That is good to know, Danimal the Bruce, and I am certain that Morgan and I would like to get any information that you might have on where we can find that. If you want to send that to me in Discord. So there we go. That's the cover. In volume 1 it was good in the sense that as a comic book, it did what it should do. It didn't really pay off the promise yet. The premise rather. Premise being, what is it like to live in what would really happen if they had succeeded? It didn't show us yet in issue 1. How did that happen? Right? It just shows us, starts off, and it's I think more or less now, like in this era right now, this year, but in this alternate timeline where it's now been like 3 or 4 years that Trump has been president again, after still not winning the vote, and yet remain president. So the art is very good. I talked about it then. It reminded me of a little bit of I forget who drew Why the Last Man, but it kind of reminds me of that type of art. And then it's got this woman is running along rooftops trying to stay out of view of some Trump drones here. And then not until page 3 do you really start to see, and you got this big gold statue of Trump. I alone can fix it. Okay. And then you've got these drones. They're carrying these flags that kind of, wow, what are those? Remind me of something. I don't know what that is. It's something that's just, I don't know, on the tip of my brain. I can't quite. And then there's the tanks with the big gold T's on them. And you got the the public message playing probably 24/7. It's like calling on all patriots to stamp out the Antifa menace. And this stuff, like I said then, this stuff seems cartoonish. Like it seems silly. But when you really think about it, do you think that this isn't almost exactly what it would be like? I think it would be, because Trump is cartoonish and silly, right? The best place to read this for free, and I'm not going to encourage anyone to do this if you don't already have it, but Amazon, if you already have Amazon Prime, Kindle, whatever, you can read it for free on Kindle. Number 1, you can read for free. Number 2, I paid for gladly, actually, and I will pay for the trade whenever it's done. So there's a spoiler about how I felt about issue 2. And then you got, it's gonna be bigly. That's pretty silly, but it's Trump. So essentially, you go on to meet the different characters that you follow in the series. Here's the journalist. She actually destroys the shit out of this thing here. We follow up on that later. Here's a journalist that sees, I guess, his co-anchor, or he's a writer, and then there's the anchors that's kind of he's given the real news, and you're not supposed to do that in this Trump America, right? So like literally armed, I guess, I don't know what I guess they would be like 3%ers types show up, and they pull this guy off of the air as he's reporting news that is not approved to be reported. And yes, Paya Gare, yes, thank you. Paya, I don't know. I'm white. What do I know? Excuse me. And he calls this guy a traitor. You can't do this. Ever heard of the First Amendment? Sure, traitor. Ever heard of the Second? And like, yeah, man, that's what it would be like. I think that conversation would happen a lot. Probably, I mean, it is happening a lot. And then they just gun this dude down, like right there in the news studio, and they get their own guy on there to say what they want said. I don't know if it would go that far, at least immediately. But I mean, let's look at it this way: if they had actually gone through with it and like pushed hard enough to legitimately overturn and steal the election, at that point, all bets are off. You know what I mean? Like, I would not expect norms to be followed at all after that. So maybe that could happen. This guy goes on the run, goes into hiding. And then you also follow this guy. It's kind of an interesting angle because this is a MAGA dad guy, and him and his son were both Trump supporters, but his son was a bit more fervent supporter. He's just like a dad who wants to connect with his son, kind of thing, and he agrees with Trump generally and stuff like that. But then they ended up going to the January 6th event, and his son got killed. And so he's here to pay tribute to honor his son who died there when, taking the country back, right? On the new Independence Day, as they call it. It's the new Independence Day. And then you start to see this guy as he starts to encounter certain things that he's not really like understanding why certain things are the way they are. For one thing, they would have to lie about the events that took place on January 6th if they had succeeded, because they'd have to craft a pretty weird lie to make it work to any degree at all for certain people. I don't know. The same way that they're like, get our people out of jail. Our people aren't being treated well in jail. And also, it wasn't really Trump people. It was Antifa and BLM. Like, oh boy, you got the QAnon shaman statue right there. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. He's a cool guy. Then you got people saying these animals hung our vice president. Our heroes paid the ultimate sacrifice. And then they're like, death to Antifa, blood and soil. I will not be replaced. Blah, blah, blah. Right here is where this dad starts to kind of like be like, wait, what? Because he says, many of our patriot brethren were ambushed and killed by those Antifa forces. He's like, huh? We reinforced by the thugs and criminals from Black Lives Matter. Yeah. And then this guy's like, but that's not what happened. Hey, that's not what happened. I was there. That's not what happened. My son was killed by. And then they all tell him to shut the fuck up. They call him an infiltrator. I bet he's wearing a wire. Yeah, you can see that. And then ultimately, I'm skipping through a lot of pages here just to kind of give you the broad strokes. But like ultimately, they ended up finding ballot boxes from January 6th. I don't know what is to be done with them, but essentially they found the ballot boxes that prove that Trump did not. Because the thing is, they convinced America that he did win. They convinced by using their fake elector scheme and all that stuff. If you're not familiar with that, maybe we can go into it in a little bit. But that is 1/6 number 1. And then the next, how did we get here? Yeah, good question. How does this fucking happen, man? And that's what we're going to find out today. Everybody still with me? Everybody there. Hello, 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 hello. Oh yeah. I hope you guys don't mind it. Don't mind it raw.
You want a raw tough guy? Then take it raw!
Okay. Hope you don't mind. Because we going raw. We raw dogging it. All right.
Empty your pockets into the tray, sir, or we'll have to. Your pockets, sir?
Lady, the problem isn't in my pants. Okay, now you've seen him. We good.
Problem isn't in my pants. I promise it's not. Sorry, I'm putting my hair up right now because this was all in my face and shit. Okay. What do we got? We got Will Be Wild. Yep. If you could add a like to the channel, it would really help. Hey, Michael, you're the shit, man. Like, you're the shit. Yes, because I suck at this. You should hit like if you're watching, if you're gaining anything out of this, even if you're gaining a feeling of like disgust and resentment and how dare this fucking communist, fucking liberal, fucking radical leftist, fucking Antifa, BLM, fucking all those words that you don't really know what they mean, but you know they fucking not good. What is that motherfucker doing talking about fucking Trump? And if, you know what I mean? If you feel anything like that, hit like or hit the downvote. I don't know. I don't fucking care, man. Just engage with this goddamn video, please. Hell yeah. All right. So what we got here is failure to communicate. Give me 1 second. I need to look something up. Okay. It's a I mean, in my opinion, and I'm not any kind of expert, it's just like a underdeveloped, I mean, there's been studies that show that by and large conservatives tend to be more fearful of, things they don't aren't familiar with, things they don't understand. And that's like something that essentially humans are biologically programmed to do that, but then you have propaganda and certain education systems in certain parts of the country excuse me, that then take that natural human inclination to be fearful of things that you aren't familiar with, aren't comfortable, or don't have understanding of, and then there are people that intentionally take that and like seize on it and go, no, you're right to be that, feel that way about that thing. Essentially the joke I've made before, and whenever we did our FAP News thing, Morgan and I, for the War on Christmas, and it was like Fox News, but it was FAP News. The FAP News slogan is, everything you love is threatened by everything you don't understand, because that's it. Thank you very much. That is very appreciated, man. All right. So this is 1/6 number 2. It's coming out, I guess, like once a year, maybe. I mean, it was over a year ago, I think or maybe it wasn't over a year, or about a year, that I got number one, but it had been out for a while whenever I got it, I think. So it's about an annual thing, because it's an independently published thing. They created their own imprint, their own publisher kind of thing. Oh god damn it! It's called like 1/6 Comics, so it's literally just a publisher created for this title. And there are several people working on it. That a few of them I am familiar with their names from something or another. Cool cover, terrifying cover also. We do got to bring back FAP news. Yeah. First Amendment. There's been a lot of road paved for them to be able to say that stuff. If you go back into the history and look at, there's a long history of con men, con women, even saying bullshit to extract money from Americans. And Americans are especially gullible. They've historically always been. There's been like an especially gullible. You got to think about the people that came to America looking for gold and shit. They're like, they'd never been here. They didn't know for sure. Like, and a lot of people, we hear about the people that, they struck it rich or whatever. So many more people fucking died. Like entire families died, were fucking wiped out, just fucking died of starvation because they couldn't find shit. So many fucking families and people. Like, because these people were just like, oh, we're going to go get rich over in fucking new world. And that's the people that we are fucking descended from, generally. We're kind of a stupid country. Sorry. All right, so acknowledgments right here. Will be wild. So you open up here and you see the characters. These are the characters we met in the first issue, and they've come together. One thing I didn't show you because I didn't have a screenshot of it was that the main group of characters that are definitely not Trump MAGA people, they ended up encountering that dad. So after he was chased away from the MAGA rally or the MAGA thing, Independence Day thing, despite being a MAGA guy, because he questioned the narrative, they fucking chased him off. And he, feeling dejected, ran into a diner and ended up running into this group of people who welcomed him. Those fucking liberals they're so fucking nice, But yeah. So they had some chili and they'd be farting. You know how it goes. So, this guy's like way too understanding of things. It's like, no, I get it. You're right. I'm a fucking Trump guy. I wouldn't trust me either. So yeah, they all, I think everybody here maybe lost somebody that day, which makes some sense. And there's going to be some hostile feelings here. And then so, this dude suggests that they share their story. And that's essentially what this issue is each one of them giving their perspective on how they got here. And it also, that gives the perspective of how everything kind of went down. Once again, the art is actually, I think, better in this issue than the first issue. It's very fucking good. And so this is what's interesting here that I really wanted to look at. And I'm going to jump ahead to something that's in the end of the comic. Let me find it. Okay, here we go. So this is at the end of this issue. It was not in the end of the first issue, but that didn't matter in the first issue. It's about 30 pages or so, I guess. And I find this really, really interesting and cool and responsible. So this is how to read this comic. 1/6 is a work of speculative fiction rooted in real events. Because this issue is set in the actual weeks, days, and hours leading up to the insurrection, we've created a simple, easy to understand visual system to help readers identify which moments are documented facts, speculative moments supported by credible information, or fictional elements that they created for the purpose of storytelling. And then you can, tell by looking at the borders of the panel that you're reading, which is pretty goddamn brilliant, I think. And kind of the antithesis of everything that the right is all about, and even some people on the left, as far as like understanding the difference between these things. So just keep that in mind. Documented is a full white rectangle. Speculative is a white rectangle with the missing corner. And fictional is just a black rectangle. Cool. So here we've got a full white rectangle. White indeed. It is the whitest of rectangles. Yeah, it goes all the way back to Charlottesville in 2017. It's kind of crazy, and it's good that it does, because this stuff is directly related. Like there is a straight line of there's a causality chain here. Violence on both sides. Remember that? Remember how crazy that was, guys? Couldn't believe it. Every fucking day with this guy, it was like, I can't believe this is happening, right? I think maybe about year 3 was when it stopped having really. I basically became numb. What about you? Let me know. During the Trump presidency, at what point did you stop, like, feeling things? Oh, is that just me? Shit. Whoops. Oh yeah, I need to send a link to old Empty Mitch. So give me a second to do that. But so if you're watching this, what do you think of this so far? Do you think this is an exercise in futility, just cope? Is this a necessary type of comic book? Is this what do you think? Hello there, General Kenobi. I think it's interesting, but I find the comics' historical record most interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, and this is why I kind of like wanted to do this series. Like by the way, the issue number 1 was the thing that made me think of doing this as a series, because I'm like, it's kind of come full circle as far as like the beginnings of comics and what they were about, and the reasons for them to exist, and the agenda that they had, to this comic, and the reason it exists, and the agenda that it has. Because look, everything's got an agenda. This one, not all agendas are bad. Like, trying to convince people, hey, these people really legitimately tried to steal fucking democracy, and they're going to continue trying to do it. So let's not let them do that. I think that's a pretty noble agenda, to be honest. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, best case scenario, this is just like, one day we can look back on this and go, man, glad we didn't have to find out for real if it was going to be like that. Worst case scenario, we're somewhat prepared conceptually for some things that might happen. Don't want to think that's the case, but essentially, it's going through the stuff. All this stuff. You were there. You were here. Here's where it gets fucking wacky. The QAnon mention. There's not a satanic cult. No, I don't know that. Neither do you know that. And then, you got the fucking QAnon weirdos that are just like, yeah, he said, trust the plan. Steve Bannon, what Trump's going to do is he's going to declare victory. That doesn't mean he's the winner. He's just going to say he's the winner. When you wake up Wednesday morning, there's going to be a firestorm. I think that is a direct quote. Fuck the voting. Let's get right to the violence. I'm pretty sure that's a direct quote from Roger Stone as well. Remember Fox News calling Arizona for Biden? That was crazy. This is fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment. Yeah, remember this one? 2:21 a.m. There was nothing for him to. It wasn't even. There weren't even enough votes counted to make a declaration for a winner. It's like statistically, just there's no reason to have. But he did it because of that. Because that was his moment to seize the narrative and make the claim that he'd won. We're getting ready to win this election. And then he goes for it. He fucking goes for it right there is where he says, you know what? I'm going to say it. I'm going to say the thing. Frankly, we did win this election. That's where it happened, folks. That's where he fucking crossed that line. If he had not said this, if he just never said that, things could be different. He could have chickened out. His little fucking, if he didn't have a fucking infrastructure of fucking crazy people and fascists around him, he probably would have chickened out. Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time believing that it's that many, though. I was thinking about last night, because I've been really focused on it lately. Biden's not very popular, and for one specific reason, it's kind of it's understandable that people are pissed at him. But then there's a lot of stuff that Biden has done that he's not getting credit for, and that is a failure of the Biden team as well, campaign administration, to properly frame these wins that there have been some of. There have been, but it's hard to sell people that you've been winning and achieving things whenever a lot of what you're achieving is just undoing damage that was done before you. So in that way, it's like, man, it's not an enviable fucking position to be in at all. But at the same time, yeah, he's. I don't know what the fuck the logic is with the Palestine and stuff. I don't know. I guess it's literally just funding tied up and it's capitalism at the end of the day, I think. Right. Yes. That is fucking terrifying. But I still what I was thinking about last night. I was like, wait a second. But yes, because the way I've been framing it, whenever I think about it, is like, man, the last election is honestly kind of close. Closer than I would fucking want it to be. And all it would take is like a certain number of those people to have become complacent, and then even just the same amount of people or a little bit more that voted for Trump to decide that they're going to get out and do it. And that's if we're just basing it on actual voting being a thing and not theft of vote. But all the people that voted for Trump in 2020 did so prior to, obviously January 6, 2021. And there was some progress made on that narrative by, what was it? The January 6 hearings and stuff like that. They did a pretty decent job. Whoever decided to air those fucking hearings the way that they did and put big spaces between them, you know what I mean? Like, not just like air them all in 2 days and then be done with it. They had like, was it like 3 weeks of several days each week, and then spaces in between or something like that. And then the video packages that they showed and put out and everything, a lot of that stuff was done, look, pretty fucking well. I don't know how many people, I mean, I know that there are some people that voted for Trump in 2020 that will not vote for him again. I know that's a fact that has happened. I don't feel like he could have gained a whole lot of new support. Maybe that's naive, but I just don't see it, because like basically the fervor that people are you're hearing and seeing now is people that were just, they're fucking all in, man. They've been in sunk cost fallacy since fucking 2016. There's no going back for these motherfuckers. Like, it's just, of course there's no way to know. We're all just speculating, really trying to do the best we can with what we've seen happen, what we know. But I don't know. Maybe I just don't like to think about the idea that this is the twilight years of or twilight weeks, months of whatever flawed democracy that we've had. Yeah, you talked to all of them, or what? You did a poll yourself? Because the thing is that you have to understand that I'm sure that you're right about a lot of them, yeah, but like there's also people that were completely disillusioned by 2020. And you look at how Trump basically undermined his own vote, with he's been undermining election integrity this whole time. There's going to be also an unknown amount of people who just are like fucking checked out because they couldn't stand the fucking loss, right? I'm just saying, don't be so confident with any side of it. I'm not being confident with saying that, oh, it's not possible. I'm just saying there are unknown factors that we can't possibly know right now, and that fear mongering with certainty is it's honestly disingenuous, in my opinion. I'm scared shitless too, Terror Story. I am fucking scared shitless and angry, and I don't want to have to murk people in my lifetime. You know what I mean? And I feel like if this happens, I'm going to end up murking people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to end up having to fucking take somebody out at some point, for whatever reason. I just feel like the chances of that happening, they skyrocket. And maybe that's just some kind of like base paranoia in my brain, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't think, like, my dad's a fucking piece of shit still, but I don't even think he's going to vote for Trump again. And he's always been kind of a litmus test for me, but like, I feel like my dad was kind of embarrassed by the whole thing. He will still, last time I talked to him anyway, he would still kind of get defensive of Trump and kind of shit on Biden, but he didn't really want to talk about it anymore the way that he did when Trump was in power. And there seemed to be an element of shame there. And I don't want to oversell that shame and say that, it's a very common thing with other people besides my dad, and I don't want to undersell it either, because it could be more of a, just like a motivating factor than in the sense of motivating people to just check the fuck out of this electoralism nonsense in their minds. Woke church, hell yeah. All right, we gotta move on here. See what okay. Stop the count. What, like the count? Like 1, 2, right? No? Okay. Yeah, I don't think we got to worry about that really. There's probably some people that are watching that will want to, or say they'll want to anyway. But generally, this audience, I got no worries that anybody in this audience is going to be voting for Trump. And in fact, I think we're going to have something to say about this election stuff on Sunday on the Fabcast. I know Morgan is. I might add something, or I might just let Morgan go off. Because there are people who they don't like the fact that we're in this situation where, so you're telling me I have to vote for Biden, or the Democrats, when they haven't done shit for me or for the working class or whatever. And it's like, well, that's not even true. Biden has done, some pretty cool stuff for the working class. And we'll probably have to go into that at some point on stream. But yeah, well, I'm going to let Morgan handle it on Sunday, but it's a really, really dumb thing to act like you're doing something noble and justified to not vote at all just because Biden's not, fucking perfect and because he's got some shitty fucking he's in a shitty situation with Israel and Palestine and stuff. And he's apparently choosing to dig his heels into that shitty situation. And then also now doing fucking strikes on anyway, we're not going to get into that. Yes. There are only 2 votes. There's, anti-Trump or pro-Biden, really. If you vote third party, you're wasting your time. You're not doing anything. You can, you may be an idealist. You may think that you're gonna be able to sleep better at night or whatever, but your ideals suck, because my ideals are such that I don't want to see the most marginalized and vulnerable people in the country, who would absolutely be the first people to get fucked. I don't want to see them getting fucked. That's my ideals. So boom. Yeah. All right. Oh, Jenny Thomas. That's crazy. It's like she's the wife of a Supreme Court justice. It's not like she would be doing anything crazy behind the scenes. That wouldn't happen, right? Well, I mean, even if it was her husband, he's a good guy. He's a Supreme Court justice. He would not allow that, right? He's an honorable guy, right? Right? Sorry. I think I know this guy. Holy shit. We aren't getting through this without a civil war. Oh no, I don't know that guy. That's actual real guy. Okay, Oathkeeper leader, Stuart Rhodes. Jenny sends another text to Trump's chief of staff. Do not concede. It takes time for the army to, so this is all still stuff that, as we can see, it is boxed, full box here. So that has happened as it's depicted. Cool. And then we see this guy and his son. Uh-oh. Meanwhile, this is funny. They nailed this. And meanwhile, at the Four Seasons, total landscaping, parking lot, which they didn't add this detail, but my favorite detail of this was that it was like in the same little shopping center as like a dildo emporium or something like that, which is just super classy, man. Super cool. Four Seasons landscaping. That was maybe a moment whenever I realized, wait a second, the worm is turning, right? Like the worm was turning in that moment. Where, you know, of course Biden had already won, but like January 6th, it was still like they were doing some crazy shit still. There was still this thickness in the air of like, what the fuck is actually going to happen? And this whole moment, this whole fucking Four Seasons landscaping parking lot business was like, oh no, they're fucking, the emperor has no clothes, right? Is this really happening? Which part exactly? A wiener? Look at this fucking Rudy drawing, man. Holy shit. All the networks. Wow, all the networks. Yeah, no, I was really disappointed. They didn't get that. Exactly. They didn't get the fucking hair dye dripping down his face. It's really disappointing, honestly. I'm gonna have to bump it down, my overall review of this issue for that. You know, and then things are playing out as they did generally. I don't want people to know we lost. And this is in a white rectangle, so apparently he actually said this. "10,000 people gather for the Million MAGA March." That makes sense that they wouldn't be able to count. They just saw 10,000 people. Are like, that looks like a million. Yikes! Yikes! And remember, this is the Proud Boys, who their founder and who still, you know, functions with them in some capacity. He was on Friday Night Tights. In fact, this reminds me that I need to show you guys something that came up earlier. You want to see something crazy? This is spanking news, man. We got a
Newsflash, asshole!
So this was Friday Night Tights today. See anybody you know, normal crew here. Okay. And then what? Yeah, that's right. Vivek Ramaswamy. Swami. He was on there. Legit. This is real. This is real. It's been confirmed. It really happened. Yeah, but you know, I guess we can take some solace in the fact that they could only get him after he fucking got trounced in Iowa. It's weird. It's weird coincidence, right? Well, because they have Chrissy Mayer, they can't have too many fucking girls on there at a time, you know. That might be the brownest. Oh my god, sorry, I keep yawning. That might be the brownest guy that's ever been on there. No, I'm just kidding. So these guys are cool, right? Like they're the coolest. And then there's this super chat here that they got. I suppose it's from them to them. I don't know. So Vivek had never heard of MCU before this stream, but he kept saying that it was affecting the culture nonetheless. So here, I've never heard of that, and it's a huge deal, and it's a huge problem. Can we say grifter? Yeah, I mean, if Mahler would have been there, it wouldn't have been a politics chat, right? Like, but it would have given us one of the another square on the Chud bingo. So. Anyway, back to the message at hand. Message. Indeed. All right. Oh, look, they've even got some of the text from the Fox fucking lawsuit release. God damn, I keep yelling for some reason. Shit. What does that mean? I just don't know. Body trying to tell me something. I'm not sure what it is. Oh, look, okay. You know what? Points returned. They got the hair dye. They nailed it. You might have sleepy bitch disease. I'm gonna fucking start saying that all the time now. Oh, I got sleepy. I do say like earlier yesterday or something. I'll say like, oh, I got itchy ankle syndrome or itchy ankle disease as I scratch my ankle. I don't know why. It's just funny to me. So members of the Florida chapter of the Oath Keepers held a training on November 22nd, 2020, a training on unconventional warfare, and that is defined as activities conducted to enable a resistance movement or insurgency, to coerce, disrupt, or overthrow a government by operating through a guerrilla force. U.S. Department of Defense. Okie dokie. And then you got this guy and his dad, and you know the dude's getting the younger fella's getting pretty riled up by all this. And then you have William Barr, somehow one of the saner people in that administration there at the end. Somehow, there's a Trump infamous plate throw with the ketchup on the wall and everything. Good times, good times. Someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get shot. Someone's going to get killed. Yes, and her name was Ashley Babbitt. And you know, honestly, she should have just fucking stopped when they were fucking pointing guns in her face and telling her to stop. But sadly, she was you know, someone who's in the military who you know, had apparently some mental health issues and I think maybe some substance issues and stuff. And it's like, and I'm not trying to devalue her life or anything simply because she was a fucking, you know, kind of whacked out MAGA person, possibly QAnon person, but she was a person. And she had been, like a lot of people have been and still are being, fucking led by these rich motherfuckers, one in particular, but you know, a bunch of them around him that have no concern for their lives, their well-being, their, you know, it's frustrating, you know, because it's like I hate that they give me a second. because I need to chug on my energy drink. I am fading. Ayo. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. You guys seen this?
Kristen says, Ben, let's see your guns. What is all, with all the questions with the guns? What?
It's good times. Good times. Oh, I got a thing I'm going to show as we take a quick break here. Mitch, if you wanted to come on, kind of just waiting on you, man. Kind of stalling for time a little bit. You know, it's up to you. I'm going to play a unrelated thing here while I take a quick break. So yeah, let me find this thing. Here we go. All right. You guys ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this.
The X-Men do, bub. Bub. Okay, bub. Drop it, bub. Bub. Thanks for the lift, bub. The only place you're going is down, bub. 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 I feel the way I feel, bub. I don't know who you are, bub. 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 Watch it, bub. Hey, it's a big island, bub.
How are you old war?
Something I can do for you, bub?
Sorry, pal.
Yeah, got a little bit of bub business there. We had to handle. Sorry about that. Not sorry at all. And then where's this? I'm looking for one other thing here, real quick. I apologize. Give me 1 second. Just 1 minute here. Just another moment, please. You guys know about Xgasms? I mean, I know it's it's the year of Bub. It's not the year of X, but I mean, it's tangentially related. You know about Xgasms, I'm sure. You have to know about Xgasms. Xgasms are, in the old X-Men animated series. I mean, well, Gene had them a lot. Those were the best ones, but good old Charles Xavier, he had some Xgasms too.
Salamandra. It doesn't have to be.
And and for the occasion, I've brought on a guest tonight who knows he's the expert in the field on exgasms. From what I understand, I don't know. Empty Mitch, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, dude. How are you?
Yeah, good. Sorry, I was watching from the start. I thought I better sit back and because who really wants to hear from me about comics and American politics? Yeah,
man. Honestly, like I appreciate an outsider perspective from someone who's got a good head on their shoulders, regardless, and you definitely do. You for anybody that's not familiar, I think me and then maybe Ryan of Nothing But Media both kind of happened upon Mitch's channel sometime last year. Like your first video, dude. Like it's still kind of mind blowing that your first video right out of the gate was that critical drinker video, and it's fucking awesome.
oh, look, hey, I appreciate that. That's nice to hear. But yeah, I was watching the snippets that you played at the start, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's pretty rough around the edges. So
nah,
yeah.
I mean, sure, like, dude, yeah. I mean, if I went back and looked at some of my first videos, hell, if I went back and looked at last month's videos, I'll find some rough around the edges stuff. It's just the nature of the beast, man. Like the thing is that you just gotta start doing it. You know what I mean? Anybody that considers doing it but doesn't. I thought about doing YouTube for several years before I ever actually did it, and I would just like talk myself out of it, basically, because I would have all these anxieties about, what if I this or this or this, and like the only way to just get past that stuff is just to do it, because you're gonna make mistakes. It's gonna be rough. You're gonna look back and cringe at your older videos eventually and stuff like that. Just you got to do it. But,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, like my process through it was, I heard about the critical drinker. I watched this podcast with him and Chris Williamson, and it went for about an hour. My friend was like, "You got to watch it," and everything he was saying was just absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, how is no one calling this person out? And so I'm like, I'll start with the script, and if it stays as a script, at least I got my thoughts on the page, and then I'll film it, and then if that's as far as it goes, that's as far as it goes, and then all right, I'll edit it, and if that's as far as it goes, so each step was just at one step. The end goal was never to really post it on YouTube, but once I'd finished it, I'm like, all right, I've gone this far. Let's just go up. But those
it's
anxieties
not a complete disaster. I might as well upload it. Right?
That's right, yeah. But the anxieties there,
oh yeah,
right from the start. Everything I type, I'm like, it sounds a bit off, sounds a bit wrong. But yeah, it's been fun though to do it, and then like discovering the world that you guys are in. I just I was at the tip of the iceberg, and then the more I watch you guys, I'm like, oh, it's just a full, it's a business for these guys, and they've jumped on it. They know what they're doing, and calling it out is it's the right move, because you can just it's really transparent how they're sort of treating it all.
It is, and it's yeah. I mean, by the way, I apologize for that, because I am the one that reached out to you. You could have stayed innocent, like you could have completely stayed innocent in this ignorant bubble of like you would have never. Your life probably would be better by now, right now. So I apologize.
No, it's been fun. It's good. It's sort of it's interesting. I mean, like the fact that there's that many people out there doing it, but also it's working. I mean, you can't deny that. Like what they're doing, it's making the money, and there's people getting behind it. So the more people that are calling it out, the better, I think. So,
well, there's like I was I alluded to earlier, like especially in America, but I mean, I know we have exported it for sure. There's always been in this country an element of the populace that is just so willing to throw money at bullshit and believe crazy things. Like believe things without evidence, and I don't know. I apologize on behalf of our country for that.
No, it's all good. It's
from what I understand, you Australians were fine, upstanding people before you started getting some of our culture over there. No, speaking of that, Blissful Haze is apparently Aussie as well and wants to know where you are generally, of course.
Yep. I'm down south in Melbourne area.
Right
so
on.
it's yeah.
Doxed him.
Yeah, it's over now. All 400 subs, they're gonna come for me now.
Oh man, that's crazy. Like, I mean, let me pull up your channel here so everybody can take a look. It is just genuinely insane. That's really like you know, you downplay, you know, your first video and stuff, and of course I get it. I do that too, but like, I don't know if you realize how rough a lot of first videos are, man. Like, especially to come out with an essay and to go at a channel of that stature, because he's essentially the big one, you know what I mean, as far as like numbers go, and
Yep.
to make so many fucking like banger points, it's just unheard of, really, as far as I know, anyway. But yeah, if you're not subscribed to Empty Mitch, you should be, you know. And I will get that link for you here. It's just at Empty Mitch on YouTube. You know, it's not that hard. You can figure it out.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And there you go. It's in chat now as well. I need to. I forgot to put it in the stream in the description before the stream. But once this stream is over, I'll have it in the description. So if you're watching it later on, it will be there. So there you go. No excuse. Because. Yeah, man, and this just goes to show that like there is a huge problem with YouTube. Like, I don't know if you've looked into any of that or not, the way the algorithm functions and
well, yeah. So I've got the two channels. Obviously, this is the one that I post to, but I've got a personal account as well with because I've been paying premium, so I've hung on to that one. But when I'm doing research for these types of videos, you watch one video in this sort of genre, and all of a sudden it takes over your entire page. And that flips me out. Like, my Empty Mitch page is just full of, you know, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, all that just sort of trash. And you know, the stuff I've been watching on my personal account forever, you know, it's so hard to find new creators, new stuff, but it just seems absolutely endless on the other side, on the flip side. Definitely. It's obviously like a hole that people sort of find themselves in and it only takes one click.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's been shown many times now, and like there's we watched a bit me with some Patreon supporters a while back, and Morgan as well. We watched this it's actually a documentary by Alex Winter, the guy that he was Bill from Bill and Ted. He has a documentary called The YouTube Effect. And it is, I think that's what it's called, right? Yeah. And it goes into all this, you know, and talks about how just the you know, the way I've described it before. I did a video about it with Organized Chaos once, where like, you know, because we'll get people showing up in our comments. I'm sure you've gotten this, where like they're like, oh, well, how come he's got 1 million subscribers or 2 million subscribers and you don't have shit? It's like, I guess that shows who knows what's up or whatever. And it's like, do you actually think this is a meritocracy on this platform? Because holy shit.
Those comments always make me laugh. It's like, what are we saying here? It's just like, it's a popularity contest. Is it like, it's not really how it works.
Well, I mean, what I typically say is like, because like Eric July, for example, his fans will say that shit and they'll be like, oh, well, you know, he's really successful and he's got a bigger channel than you. And I'm like, yeah, but the people that he talks about all the time are bigger than him. So by your logic, like, he sucks compared to them. So like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Exactly right. Yeah. And it just keeps going up and up and up. Like, yeah, when does it end?
So, but yeah, they this algorithmic effect of like, you know, you watch one thing and even going back a few years ago, essentially just honestly, the idea behind the initiative, the Fandom Initiative, was this is really the second time that I've tried it. The first time I tried this, the premise at the core of it was specifically in a political context. Shortly after I started YouTube, I started at the end of 2019, basically, and then in spring of 2020, I had, you know, started meeting a bunch of like progressive leftist YouTubers and stuff, and got into these communities. And I was like, look, yeah, you're a communist and you're an anarchist and you're a social democrat or whatever, but like, look, we all know that we have to like go the opposite direction from fascism, right? Like, we're all in agreement there. So let's coordinate to do that, and then we can figure out the rest later. You know what I mean? That was my naive idea. And because the way that this content is, their content, the right-wing content, has gotten everywhere is they coordinated it. Essentially, they go on each other's channels. They, that's why you'll see them cross-platforming each other, and then you've seen so and so on this show, on this podcast, and then that dude's channel is going to get recommended to you from on with the other channel that you've already been watching, and then you can kind of just see an exponential effect as they do that more and more and more. And that's how the Fandom Menace came together. That's why they do that weekly show that they do, where there's like all of them are on the same show. And essentially that was what the concept was with the initiative, because it didn't really work in the political context because, I don't know, people are just too up their own butts with their politics, I think. But when it came to fandom and like just finding people that were like of the same mind of like, yeah, man, we may not always agree on everything, but like, this is not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's, and it's really been pretty beneficial. And that's why, I try to reach out to people like you whenever I see somebody doing like, hey, this guy's, first of all, I got to let people know that you're going to come up against some resistance, because I'm not sure how aware everybody is of that. Like we just had Westside Tyler on a few weeks ago. He was coming up really fast. Like when I came across him, he had like 500 subs, something. Now he's got almost 6,000. He's almost as big as my channel now. And I just like to let people know that like you're gonna get like the better you are at this, the more effective you are, the more concerned they're going to be, and the harder they're going to come at you. And you should take that as like, that's a good thing in a weird way. Because I've had people email me since I've been doing this asking like, how do I stop them from bombarding my channel and saying mean things in my comments? And I'm like, you don't stop them. You like, if you're letting that affect you, you either need to learn to stop letting it affect you, or you might not be doing something you should do. Because it's just the nature of this thing. And yeah, you kind of have to frame it in a healthy way, or you're going to it's going to fucking hit you in an unhealthy way. Anyway, I'm rambling.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like, I mean, when I got your email, I did appreciate that, because it was just sort of, hey, heads up, like there might be some hate coming your way. So it was good to prepare. But it was funny that after you emailed, I got a comment saying, respect your opinion or whatever, but at least you aren't with the anti-fandom. And I'm like, oh geez. So like, you guys are like well known in those groups, and yeah, you were like, your names were getting brought up in my comments like from early.
Oh, they were mentioned. So they said us. You said anti-fandom. So it was like,
oh, sorry,
yeah. They're talking about us. Gotcha.
Yeah. So like, they were bringing you guys up pretty early on, and I'm like, oh, okay,
hey,
what's the go here? And
they hate us.
Yeah.
They truly do.
I think another like, I wouldn't say issue, but like, if you got the two sides, it seems that the critical drinker sort of viewpoint on things is it sort of leans on that extreme. It's like people watch it and they feel that emotion of like anger and hate, and they want to look out for more things to get angry about. There's sort of I don't know, it's sort of like that builds. Whereas on the other side, it's more I guess apathetic towards what's going on. It's like, oh yeah, that guy's an idiot, and they move on, which I feel like can make I mean, what you guys are trying to do like extra tricky, because there's sometimes less emotion behind pushing back on these guys.
Yeah, I mean, it can be tricky for sure. Like, well, I mean, we have every week we do a Wednesday stream, but we have a Tuesday meeting every week, and that Tuesday meeting, it started out as like, let's plan a good show. Let's make sure we have an idea what our show tomorrow is going to be, and we know what we're going to do. And after not even a very long amount of time, we kind of got that under, it was no problem. We could kind of crank out a good stream pretty easily without a lot of discussion about it. But the reason it's still valuable and that we still do it is because there's an ethical conversation to be had about a lot of the stuff that we cover. Like, how are we going to talk about this? What is the most important thing to talk about this thing that they're saying or whatever? And then the responsible way to talk about it. Because like, the last thing that you want to do, and this is why, the reason why you stood out as like, wow, first video, because they want to upset people. You know what I mean? They want people to act with an emotional fucking knee-jerk response to them. And it's like frustrating because the stuff they're saying in a lot of cases, it can very much cause a valid emotional reaction. Like, holy shit, you're saying this about hold on one second, sorry. But at the same time, you don't want that, because like they feed on that stuff because they're trolls. At the end of the day, they're just trolls. And if you know how to operate with trolls, what to do, what not to do, then you kind of have the gist already.
Yeah, because there's nothing they'd love more than a clip someone getting upset about what they've had to say.
Right. And that's why I started doing it in the first place, is because I came at it from specifically the Comicsgate angle, and I was looking for people that were pushing back against it, and the ones that I found were like, a lot of times they were kind of just feeding into what they were saying and giving them, some kind of content to basically they were making themselves targets and making it, I don't know, I don't want to victim blame anybody for being targeted or anything, but like, I just had an idea that I would be able to present things in a way that wouldn't be to their advantage.
For sure. Yep.
And I, probably have done that sometimes, and then sometimes not. But as Bob of the Old Ways points out here, yes, the dark money is a factor for sure. You've got a lot of, or at least a few anyway, libertarian billionaires, rich people in the U.S. in particular, but also, elsewhere, that they don't like taxes. They don't like taxes generally. That's just what it is. They want to make as much money as possible. They want no regulations on how they make their money or how much they have to pay in. And but what they are willing to spend money on is content, essentially. So they, that's why you see things like anytime there's some right-wing, little right-wing nobody account that goes viral for something, right? Like they say something that, what was it that recently that, I don't know if you saw that country singer guy, right?
300-pound, what's the lyrics?
Something about eating
5'3" and 300 pounds. Yeah.
Yes.
I know the guy. Yeah. Yep.
That kind of guy. And like, he apparently was like legitimately just some, local, somewhat talented singer guy.
Interesting that everyone happened to tweet him at the same time, though.
Right. He gets scooped up, and then suddenly he seemed to be pushed by from what I could tell, and I did a stream on this where we dove into this shit, like Blaze Media, which is the same company that, Glenn Beck owns the parent company of it. He started Blaze Media, and it also is what Eric July is a contributor to. And then there's like Alex Stein and like all these people that they're basically anybody that starts out kind of, they get attention and they're stirring up trouble, so to speak, in with whatever thing they're doing. They're kind of like breaking through the noise and they're pissing off the liberals or whatever. There are rich people that are looking out for that, or they have people looking out for it for them, and they're like, they just jump at it. They're like, oh, we got money, we're gonna platform you, we're gonna give you everything you need to push you to the top, and as long as you just keep doing what you're doing.
Yep.
And
keep repeating the lines.
The left just doesn't have that, because like, people don't want to spend money on that generally on the left, because anyway. Let's see. Nope. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like once he did, if you remember, once that guy did say something positive. So the first stuff that came out about him was the song, and then like, oh, this guy looks like he might be a plant. But then whenever like somebody caught up to him, I think it was Fox News actually, he said some stuff that was kind of more lefty than not. He was like, I just believe that everybody, it's something about, equality and stuff like that. And everybody was like, turned on him. They fucking turned on him. They're like, boo.
wait a second.
Jesus. Oh, is there a trailer for that? Oh my God. We might have a special thing to watch here really quick. Let me see it. So I have on screen, by the way, I've been meaning to kind of laugh at this with everybody. Pro Antifa YouTubers target bounding into comics. Organized chaos, actual fandom, and turf nation gather under the banner of Fandom Initiative to browbeat the presence of Christianity in modern media. They've set their what? They've set their no. This is not what we do at all. I haven't actually read that sentence all the way. I'm just like, what the hell? We do not. We hardly ever talk about Christianity. The main thing that we talk about Christianity is with bounding into comics and how they're explicitly like theocratic fascists. Anyway, it's pretty funny. We're pro Antifa YouTuber. So if we're pro Antifa and we're against bounding into comics, what does that say about bounding into comics? Trying to do the math here. Not sure. Anyway, I'm gonna look up this. Do you know anything about that epic verse thing, man?
Not so much.
Oh,
In
yeah.
terms of what's happened with their subreddit.
No. So like the epic verse is actually nothing has come out of it yet. So as far as I know, like basically once the Rippaverse, which is Eric July, he has his little Isom comic book and stuff, and he made a good amount of money on the first one and less on the second one and much less on the third one. But once that first one hit, like a week later or something, some of their other friends in their group, the Fandom Menace group kind of thing, had announced the epic verse, which it wasn't even clear really what it was at first.
They saw the money from the first one.
Yep. I mean, it was so fast. They're like, "Oh, we're going to do the epic verse thing," and still nothing has come of it except for some really, really bad posters. But let's see. Actually, oh wow, man, what's going on with all these Aussies around here? I didn't know I had so many. But let me find that epic verse thing because holy shit. Oh yeah, here we go. So I made a cut of this trailer, the Rippaverse trailer, like the launch trailer, and then the Epic Verse launch trailer, just to kind of show how similar this grift is.
For years, we've had to deal with Hollywood's woke onslaught of destructive agendas in their films.
Those are people that just want to tell stories that represent their social political views.
At Epic Verse, we care about
canon and continuity,
excellent storytelling, and respect for our fans.
Respect the customer.
Things Hollywood has forgotten.
We don't want to make the same mistake as the other guys.
That changes today.
So maybe it's time for something new. Welcome to the Rippaverse.
That's why we launched Epic Verse.
This company is going to make me
so that's the epic verse. For a long time, that was all that was really known about it. But then they released some posters at one point. And if you haven't seen those, man, you're in for a treat because at least Isom, whenever that was announced, it's like, okay, that looks like it could maybe be a good comic book. I had my severe doubts that it would be. But like at least the art kind of looked like a comic book and whatnot. This shit. And now we know that the movies that they announced are only supposed to be like 10 or 15 minutes long, which is not a movie, actually.
Two things that pop out straight away. It's like it's the initial call out to work culture. It's like, this is our target audience. Like, let's call out work culture straight away. So we've got who we need to talk to, and then they go on to talk about Hollywood. Like, the one thing I always just does not make sense to me is how they forget that Hollywood at its core is just a business, and all they care about is money. Sure, that like at the end of the day, that's what they're chasing. They want to make money. They want to create these things. The people, if you talk about individual people in it, there's people that are in there for the art, for all that sort of stuff, but nothing's getting greenlit, and then unless they've got the dollar sign in mind. If Hollywood was losing money, pushing this work agenda, then they wouldn't be doing it. It's
1000%, man. Like you're absolutely right. Because it's I actually have a pillar of garbage clip specifically about that. So let me grab that because it is poignant. I don't know if you watched any of his videos, but he's another guy who we look up to that guy immensely. Let's see. Yeah, pillar of garbage. He's a Brit. Don't hold that against him or anything. But he makes excellent videos about this stuff. Like honestly, for the longest time, when I was doing this by myself before the initiative came together, it was like I didn't really know that there was anybody else doing it, and I was just like, man, I don't want to try necessarily get like big doing this. I just feel like I need to do it, and I'm like, what I would prefer is if somebody that was better than me at it came along and did it better than me, and I'm think he might have started maybe around the same time as me or so, but like, yeah, he's essentially who feel like I've been waiting for, because he's still growing. Half of his content is just like talking about stuff he likes and whatnot and breaking it down in positive or healthy ways rather. And then the other half is doing excellent, breakdowns of the grift, so to speak. And let's see. I know I have that clip somewhere. Damn it. What? Dude, I'm sorry, man. Well, so are you working on anything right now or what?
Yeah, I've got a couple scripts underway, but yeah, it's been a little while since my last video, but got some things in the work, and it's just a matter of finding the motivation and the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm approaching it the wrong way, but I have to watch. I mean, especially with like the drinker video, I had to watch a lot because I'd heard of him before, but and it was that one podcast that sort of made me go, this guy's kind of got no idea what he's talking about. And then, so I had to sort of dig into everything he had to say. I can't just make a video based on one thing that he's put out there. If he's wrong in one video, that's one thing. But like, I really needed to sort of dig up and see like, all right, is this guy, does he have any good points, kind of thing. So a lot of my research is watching these videos, and it gets pretty painful because I don't like a lot of the videos that I have to watch.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, so you're doing it the right way, in my opinion, because it means that you're able to do a broad analysis. And like you said, you're not just like nitpicking certain things that he might have wrong in one video or something. But like, and that's the way to do it, I think. And that's I don't like, I've always been frustrated with people whenever they try to approach this, like, they're focused on the each detail of the specific examples thing, and they're like, no, this is wrong or whatever. And it's like, I've always liked to take a step back and do kind of a bird's eye view approach to this. That's why I think I really pissed them off, actually, because they want people to be fixated on the specific thing that they're saying right now, or that they said yesterday. They don't want people to really stop and look at the broader picture and go, wait a second, I'm seeing a pattern here. You know what I mean? They don't like that shit. But I found that clip, and this is really just speaks to what you were saying a minute ago.
There's this idea that like the corporations don't care about the quality of the product. All they care about is appeasing the woke feminists. And it's like, okay, right, I don't know, they obviously haven't thought about it for more than 5 seconds, but like, no writer gets a pitch from a studio. Hey, we want you to write our new movie. We don't care if it's fucking wank, right? Yeah. As long as you have a woman kiss another woman in the background, no writer's going to be like, yes, oh, I can't wait to devote months of my life to not putting any effort into my craft whatsoever and turning out a heaping pile of dog shit just because I'm going to get a pretty small paycheck. Like, no one is a writer by trade except for, like, I don't know, nepo babies, right? No one is a writer by trade because they want an easy paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah, so like to speaking to what you Bob of the old ways is saying here, and then what you're saying about watching all that content and stuff. I don't do it. But the reason that I'm able to, I think, speak to their patterns anyway is because honestly, you don't need to watch the whole video. And this kind of cheat. Like you really don't. Like you could watch almost any Chud video and they're gonna give you the thing that they're wrong and or lying about and or being a bigot about right up front generally. And so like anything else they say after that is probably just padding out the video, killing time. At least these, okay, I will say Drinker is unique because he does actually, in my opinion, I think he knows what he's doing. Like you said a minute ago that like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I think he does. I think he knows that he's not talking about things honestly. Because there are videos where you can hear him talking about a movie and it's like that's actually really an insightful, like I think it was for everything everywhere all at once. There's a lot of stuff he says. It's actually very poignant. Maybe he plagiarized it. Maybe Chat GPT wrote it like Organized Chaos has suggested. I don't know, but like it's actually like if you didn't know it was Drinker, you'd think this is actually a very good thorough analysis of what this movie is. And then he kind of veers into, as we covered in our Drinker's message video, he veers into the thing where it's like if this was a some millennial or something making this movie or whatever. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you know what? I definitely agree with you. There's with the Drinker video, I did cut out maybe 10 minutes or so just because it didn't feel quite right in terms of pacing and everything like that.
Sure.
But there's one section where I say, sometimes he does have good points. And I was going to bring up, he did a video on the 2016 Ghostbusters film. Which obviously anytime he brings it up in recent times, he just absolutely trashes it. But in this one, he just compared, one of the original comedies or the comedic timing in the originals compared to the 2016 one. He didn't bring up, feminism. He didn't make fat jokes. He didn't make, men bad, women bad, men good jokes. Right. It was just a direct comparison. I'm like, this is pretty good. This is like what content should really be. If he's got that sort of insight, then keep pushing with that. But you can see that what gets him the views is that sort of that edge, which sort of it leans into that whole like men are being oppressed kind of that whole vibe, and he says it without saying it in some respect.
Right.
But yeah, no, definitely every now and then he'll have some valid points. I don't disagree with that. But I think, as a whole, it's steering. He steers his audience in one direction.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he's like, the purpose he serves. That's how I always think about these guys is like, what role are they filling? What is the audience they're specifically catering to? And then what role are they playing, kind of thing. So like, you've got guys like The Quartering. I don't know if you're aware of him, but his audience is honestly the dumbest audience of all these guys. Like anytime I've talked about him, because any one of them, if you talk about them, they're going to show up in your comments.
Yeah.
Their fans are, but like his fans, when they've showed up and they're just like repeating, cook, LOL, and just like the dumbest fucking buzzwords from 2016 and shit.
Yeah.
They have nothing of some substantive to say. But then like, yeah, then you so for him he's just catering to really the lowest common denominator of people who are inclined to be bigots and to see everything that's not a cis white man, straight man being centered in a piece of media or whatever. Whereas like on the opposite end of that spectrum is Critical Drinker, who, there are people who do require some sense of intellectualism to their bigotry, right? Like they can't buy into the bigotry if they think it's actually bigotry, and there's not like a real some kind of justification that gets them around the bigotry in their mind, right? Like even though at the end of the day that's what it is, but like they need a justification for it, kind of thing. And that's one of the main roles that he serves, I think, is to normalize it with people who It was actually Adam from Your Movie Sucks who said that he thinks that Critical Drinker, he's playing to. There's a lot of people who enjoy movies, but they don't think about them really. They don't analyze them. You know what I mean? Like most people probably that watch movies don't really spend a lot of time thinking about them or analyzing them. So it's actually kind of it explains its popularity for sure, because everybody likes movies, but if you don't know how to think about them critically, you don't know how to analyze them, substantively or anything like that, you still want to hear someone talk about them. You still want to watch content about it. And then you've got this guy that makes you feel like you are gaining something, intellectual from engaging with it about whatever movie he's talking about. But, that's not what it is, obviously. It's really notable how, like, he talks about how terrible the state of the industry is, but, like, he always watches blockbusters too. Like, there are other movies, man, and and it's kind of notable that most of the movies he covers are Disney movies. It's weird. Like,
I wonder why. I wonder
don't
what's
know.
pushing that. Yeah,
I just don't know. Yeah, it's true. There's a level of talent behind there. Definitely with Drinker, Nerdrotic. I think. I guess I can see how he might be a decent. Like he could be a disc jockey, like a radio disc jockey or something like that, if he wanted to do that, or just like a YouTuber who doesn't do bigotry and lie to people. Anyway, so I'm trying to oh yeah, I meant to find that fucking trailer. My bad. Because you got to see how crap this crap is. Wow, it's been a year ago since the Epic Verse trailer dropped. Wow.
and no releases as of yet.
None. Yeah, it's kind of weird. What the hell? Man, there's some weird content out there. You start getting into this algorithm that I'm into with the stuff that I look at, and it's like, and yeah, you have to have another YouTube account, by the way. Like, you can't.
It's the only way it can work.
There's no way I would be able to watch YouTube. What's the name of the movie? What was it? Philip, I think, said it. It was Unadulterated. Yes, that's what it was. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wait. What? This is like a year old, this trailer. I thought there was something new. And I didn't even know this was a thing. Holy shit. I guess they didn't promote that very well a year ago, I suppose. But I'm so confused about the Epic Verse right now, man. Like, is this part of the marketing strategy or something? They want to get me interested in finding the answers, maybe? But okay.
Trying to figure out how to make it work.
So, God damn it, this is really stupid. Let me reshare, because I don't know if I was sharing my audio or not. Here we go. Okay. Unadulterated. And it's a Kenya action film? Which, what? Why would Epic Verse?
Is this real? It's the South Sujic Pictures.
Epic Verse presents Unadulterated, a South Sujic Pictures, and so is Epic Verse just like, this is the name of this is the poster that had the name of it was done like this on their poster that I remember seeing. There's no website linked. This is so confusing right now. Like, are they just like distributing it? Is that what this is? And if they did, then they did a poor job because this has been out for a year. Like, I don't know. Let's check out and see what.
Matteo, you owe me a lot more than one. Don't you need money? They are looking for strategic thinkers, and I think you're really great at it.
There are currently 2 job interviews ongoing. If you could be more specific, I can help you out better and save a lot of time, right?
You. Epicverse doesn't even have their name or logo in the companies at the beginning. That's weird. Because, like, just to show you what I saw whenever I looked up Epicverse unadulterated. Here it is, Epicverse. See if oh, they only got 3,000 subs. Wow. So they just got the 3 videos.
They can't be
Philip.
Legit.
Where are you at, man? How you gonna throw this on me and then like this is it? I thought you had something, dude. This is confusing and nothing. All right. Well, that's a big fat lot of nothing, like I expected from Epicverse. Because by the way, the other day I had tweeted talking shit to Epic Mike, who is one of the guys behind that. And by the way, man, I apologize about the camera. I meant to have my camera on, but it was, maybe I can get it to. Come on. It is frozen. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. I had tweeted at Epic Mike because I saw him saying some stuff, and I just was like, how's the Epicverse coming? Where's the movie set? And he didn't he responded in an interesting way. So Epic Mike, and this is me, Ripaverse goalposts. This is my new sock account. Exposing myself here. So he was talking about the Halo show, and he was like going off about it one night, and I was like, I hope this Halo thing works out as a new grift for you. And I said, where's the Epicverse, by the way? And he, had replied with this: "Be gone, thought." And I said, this is his response when asked where the Epicverse movies are. So not happening then, I guess.
Is that meant to come up on screen?
Oh, my bad. Did it not come up on screen? My bad. Oh shit. There it is. Yeah. Yeah. So he said, Halo isn't some small obscure franchise. At its height, Master Chief. So he's like trying to build up Halo as something so that he can grift on that as being like, because the show on whatever channel it's on, whatever is so bad, and they're doing it, they're failing at it, they made it woke and all this shit. And so I said, I hope this Halo thing works out as a new grift for you. And where's the Epicverse? And this was his response to that. So very cool and very encouraging to think that he's hard at work there. So it's not happening.
Look, I honestly have high hopes for the Epicverse. It seems like everything's going in the right direction.
So there's 2 trailers, and the first one has the Epicverse logo shown with all the other logos at the start of the video. But it seems like they didn't actually work on it. It seems like they're just maybe distributing it or something, like in the States, maybe. Like they just bought the rights to distribute it in the United States, right? That's what it seems like. Because everything else about it is Kenyan. And yeah, that's what all the facts are telling me at this point. I would think. So the Epicverse is it is a couple of the guys with the fandom menace, specifically, I guess Epic Mike, Josiah Rises. Josiah Rises, by the way, is one of the lesser known ones, but he's one who was the guy who attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband with a hammer a couple of years ago. He explicitly, on his social media posts, he was a big fan of Josiah Rises and shared his videos a lot. Nonetheless, so those 2 guys, I guess, were the head of it, right? So it's basically the geeks and gamers kind of orbit version of, whereas like Eric July talks about comic books all the time, so he made his comic book grift, the Rippaverse. These guys talk about movies all the time. And Josiah Rises, I guess, at some point or another, directed some really crappy student films or something. And so they decided, well, we're going to do ours, and ours is going to be the movie version of this bullshit grift. Except I guess they're having trouble getting off the ground. I don't know. But the posters, I can't show them to you, honestly, because I had to unplug my external hard drive before the stream because I thought that might help my camera. Clearly did not. But yeah, you can go, you know what? I'll just look them up. I'll Google them because they're fun. Oh yeah. Oh my God. These are fucking quality, man. Oh my God. These are good. We'll just go to the old website, epicverse.tv. It's always a good sign. It's always a good sign. Yeah, there's not really any fucking the same way that Eric can get a studio in Brazil to pump out his art. So here is epicverse.tv. For some reason, it's got a Gandalf quote here. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. Oh, fuck you for using that quote, man. That quote is specifically like about resisting fucking oppression, man. Like, you sons of bitches. Sorry, Mitch. I don't mean to get you into on my angry tirades, but so here's one of the movies, Box. Cool. And Green Grass, starring Ryan Cannell, RK Outpost here. Exactly. Thank you.
Sequel to the Green Mile, I think.
I guess so. I wish I could access my my images because I would show you that, or maybe I can. Let me, before I spoil it, let me see if I can actually find my versions on this other drive I have. Oh, Reflection. I haven't heard of this one. This is a new one. But like, these are clearly really cheap, just no taste, you know, like no actual artistry in these. These are like what a grifter thinks artistry is, right? Like, what is this even about? It looks like because of his glasses and his gun there and the neon, it looks like a laser tag game, maybe. Magic. That's cool, man. That is, let's see here. Yeah, I don't think I have my posters on hand. That sucks, but double check real quick here. Nah, unfortunately, I don't. So I had made a poster. I'd kind of altered that green grass poster a little bit to just say ass, which is, I think, more befitting. Yeah, you know who would be interested in these is people who are more interested in culture war wins, or the feeling of a culture war win, than they are actual filmmaking. That's who. Cold Steel. Like, they don't even look like, they look like crappy video game posters too. Like, and there's just coming soon. And so the only thing that we've seen produced from them so far is that we know that, or very much seems like, one of the ways that they're going to do this is by, I guess, purchasing the rights to distribute no budget films from other countries. Which is just kind of sad, man. Like, is this really what y'all are doing? Yeah, no, yeah, there's it looks I mean, at least Asylum, they're having fun with it, right? But yeah, no, that there's the Greengrass poster is very much reminiscent of one of the Arrow, like the Arrow TV show. It had a poster a lot like this. Pretty similar. Fucking Gandalf here. What is going on? And then YouTube, back to that. Okay. Twitter. Coming soon. Just coming soon. That's just all there is to it. More details about Epic soon. And this has been the case for over a year and a half, almost 2 years. This is what happens when you grift and you don't even know what you're going to do to grift. You just see that someone has made money doing a grift and you're like, oh shit, we can do that too. What are we going to do? I don't know, but we got to do it, you know? Oh, maybe they've pivoted to Iron Age. That's what it might. Yeah. So Iron Age is it's the new comic book branding from Chuds, right? So first there was Comicsgate, which was allegedly a movement of comic book creators and fans. And then there was Rippaverse, which was branched off from Comicsgate because Eric July is, he's business savvy enough to realize that the Comicsgate brand had been tainted as being bigoted and terrible people. So he decided, I'm going to do Rippaverse, then my brand is on it, then I can make money directly from it. And, hats off to him. Cool. Happy for you. But anyway, yeah, man. What? Sorry, I didn't have much else to throw at you. I just, really wanted to talk with you and get more eyeballs on your channel and stuff like that.
No, that's all right. I gave input when I could, but just sat back when I didn't have too much to say.
That's a wise man does. What a wise man does. No, I didn't. I didn't want you to be like nervous, like you needed to have anything specific to talk about or say or anything, because it really is just chilling, man. It's more than anything, I just want people to see that there are other creators out here than the ones that have dominated this platform, because that's one of the most encouraging things I get on a regular basis is people that are like, oh, I didn't even know that there was content that wasn't terrible out here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, that's what I'm here for, to not be quite terrible.
That's right. Yeah. A life of being average. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
No, it's been fun. It's been fun.
Cool.
I hope I got, something out of it. It gave something back. So yeah.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
But this is actually my first live stream. So was a little bit nervous and did my best. So
you did great, man.
So.
You did great. We can do it again anytime you want to, honestly. Like if you ever see me live, and are you on Discord at all, by the way?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. What am I asking? We've fucking been communicating on Discord. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm just tired is what I am.
That's right. Yeah. And look, I was going to say, I appreciate you doing a late one as well to fit me in from the Shadow Realm. So
no, man. I pretty much do this on Fridays. I've gone even later than this before. It just kind of depends on what my needs are on Friday. But like, no, I'm happy to have you. And like, if you ever see me on and you're available, just DM me or whatever. And actually, I'm going to add you to the initiative's super top secret server, I think.
Sounds good.
And that way you'll know anytime you're kind of working on stuff or doing whatever, and then you can, at least for my streams, you'd be welcome to hop on whenever. So
awesome. I appreciate that. It's great. I'll leak it all to the Critical Drinker.
Sweet.
Got the inside now. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, he's definitely looking for something against organized chaos. He doesn't like him. So
yeah. No, I hope you guys have a conversation with him. I know you guys have been trying to bait him a little bit, but
I don't think he's ever going to do it.
That comes.
He's
I'd love to see him properly challenged. Just a little bit of pushback rather than these puff piece conversations he has. It'd be really interesting to see how in depth his knowledge actually is.
I think once he got to like he's on Russell Brand and shit like that, and talking to Russell Crowe and stuff, and it's just like, oh man, he's next level now. I don't think he's going to talk to us, but we will definitely keep trying to encourage him to do so. But yeah, man, you hopefully you'll talk to us again. I know that the other guys, by the way, wanted to talk to you as well, but obviously schedules are a nightmare whenever you're talking about people that live across the globe from each other and shit and spread across the globe. But maybe we'll be able to make it happen at some point soon. So
yeah, absolutely. No, I'd love to do it again. Been fun.
Cool. Later, man.
Awesome. Cheers.
It's no secret. Top secret. Yeah. All right. Good dude, that guy. Yeah. Good guy. Something about like if you've watched his critical drinker video, which was his first video, you kind of just have a strong sense that he's a decent guy. Because nobody's going to start doing this kind of content if they don't have like strong moral convictions against the shit that they're talking about, right? Like, yes, there is the part of me that is just like, sorry, my back is itchy. There is part of me that's just like a pedant and a comic book nerd that gets mad that people don't know what they're talking about. That is part of why I do this, but that is not what sustains doing this kind of content. What sustains it is the actual concern for people's minds and people's well-being and stuff like that. So anyways, enough fucking jerking myself off all over this stream for you 23 beautiful people. I know you're all beautiful. I can smell it. Anyways, oh yeah, I have an announcement to make.
I have come. I have come.
I have. All right. I'm going to leave you guys with that. You should check out 1/6. If you haven't, you can read it for free on Amazon Kindle or Comixology or whatever it's fucking called now. You can read it for free, and you can also purchase, I suppose, if you want to, the second issue, it's an $8 comic. But I don't know. I think it's worth it. And I like to encourage that type of content to be made. So show up Sunday, show up Sunday. The Lord's work, the Dark Lord. No, but thank you. I appreciate that. As soon as I figure out what Lord that is, though, we're gonna have a talk. Me and that Lord. Is it Lord the singer? Am I doing Lord's work? I don't know. I'm delirious at this point, guys. I apologize. You want to see what happens in 1/6? Yeah, I heard somebody's going to come spill their gender fluid all over the podcast on the Fapcast. We're going to fap. We're going to get gender fluid everywhere. It's going to be great. Thanks, Mitch. Have a good afternoon for you. Good day, mate. Good day. Yes. Got it. I haven't known a lot of Australian people in my life. But I did date one long distance a couple of years ago, as some of you are aware of. And I got to tell you, Mitch has turned my opinion around about Australian people from how she left my opinion of Australian people. Just kidding. Yeah, Sunday we're going to be doing that fapping about Chris Rufo, who is, if you're not aware of. No, I'm not telling that story on stream. That's the most I shouldn't have even said that much, to be honest. But like, yeah, I'll tell you sometime. Oh yeah, Chris Rufo. If you're not aware of him and you're concerned with the state and the direction of this country, I really, really implore you to show up and learn about this guy. Also, you'll learn about X-Men villains. Why X-Men villains specifically? Well, it's kind of obvious, but maybe you don't know. And if that's the case, then show up and learn about that. anyways, so this goes how it goes. I don't think it really gets into the fictional part yet, really. It's kind of doing just I think that it really deviates, the timeline deviates a lot, and it must be like at the very beginning of the next issue, to be honest, because there's not a lot that's really X-Men lore from a real X-Man. That is hilarious. Yes, I will post Mitch's channel once again. Sorry about that. It's kind of funny that he calls himself Empty Mitch, because I think he is full of it. And by it, I mean, a lot of insightful ideas and talent for expressing them. So they don't have a specific release schedule as far as I can tell. I think it's just kind of like they're making them one at a time, and they're clearly putting a lot into it. Like this one, I know they talk about at the end that they had to kind of like on the fly add some things because like the hearings were happening, other information was coming out as they were working on it, so they were like adding stuff as they were going and whatnot. So like they're putting a lot into this, and they also want to make it as thorough as possible in a period whenever there's actually still information to be learned about it. So I think it's worth the wait. You know what I mean? It's kind of a special thing, in my opinion. This is a pretty interesting conversation here. These people are all fucking crazy psychopaths and fucking traitors and pieces of shit. And they all deserve to dye their hair. Okay. Cassidy Hutchinson, right? Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Seeing some pretty yikesy shit here. Whoops. Wowzers. Wow. It's a cool image. Also kind of haunting, but cool. Here's a criticism. They made Ted Cruz look like a normal human being kind of here, and I don't think they should. I think that's a bad rendering of that thing that is Ted Cruz. There's this pretty funny moment right here where they're kind of like at the thing, and the journalists and these characters, and they start to realize, oh, like they see the what you call it, the news and stuff, and they're like, oh my god, things are getting kind of crazy. And it's like, just in case things get crazy and we need a safe way out. And she's like, well, what about you? And he's like, I think I'm good. And he's wearing a Blacks for Trump shirt. Like, fucking bravo, sir, bravo. Oh no, then they see the gallows here. Holy shit. Can you imagine? Imagine being there, seeing that? And this is something it's easy to not think about if you're not, a chud, because you got to think about how many people leading up to January 6th were in church and hearing their church leaders going on about this shit, right? Had to have been a few, I think. Maybe more than a few. So, yep, here comes the big moment where Pence just straight up says, nah, dog, I'm going to do the right thing for once, because the wrong thing is actually hard for me right now. If I thought I could get away with it, I would probably do it. They even got this motherfucker, what's his name? Holly. He shows up, does his fist bump thing. Hang Mike Pence, which, spoiler alert, they do. This is a very good fucking splash page. Very good. Very, very good. Things are getting chaotic. They capture the chaos pretty well, I think. Reading through it kind of gives me those vibes of that day. Watching it happen. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Check this out.
UFOs, secret moon bases, aliens, the Bermuda Triangle, the Illuminati. Let's face it, conspiracy theories are kind of rad. I've been into them for a long time, and even though I don't believe in most of them, I've still spent hours and hours on YouTube watching grainy 120p conspiracy compilations with dodgy editing and this classic soundtrack blaring over the top. I think conspiracies tap into this sense of wonder that we all share. They mix real life with a kind of magic that makes the world seem a lot more interesting, especially for those of us who live in that grey, depressing 9-to-5 existence that we do. I gotta say though, conspiracies these days have become a little bit repetitive. Election fraud this, COVID-19 that, but I actually noticed recently as I was scrolling through the comment sections of those topics that just below the surface is a belief that's held by many but discussed by few. It's a conspiracy belief that's so tame and so seemingly pointless that I'm surprised that it gained any traction at all. You see, people, and a lot of people actually, genuinely think that the World Economic Forum is going to stop people eating meat and force them to eat bugs instead.
Hey, it's that Mitch guy. This video is on his channel. It's his most recent one. I have not watched it yet, but I just needed to play that while I did a thing real quick. We're going to finish this off. Sorry about that. Harrowing events here at the end. And then he says that's the moment when everything changed forever. And then 1/6 to be continued. Yeah. And then, another good thing that this comic is doing is giving lots of information on how to, understand these things, how to do what can be done if there is anything. Oops, sorry. Democracy held hostage. Then you got that how to read this comic thing I showed you. Plot to steal an election. A lot of extra info here, a lot of extra content that's beneficial, I think. Yeah, 1/6, disaster averted or the beginning of the end for American democracy. And then there's a QR code. If anybody would like to scan that, I will. I will. Does anybody want to scan that? I'll get a screenshot and make it big. It should be a miniseries, and presumably, if we don't lose everything in November, there will be some sort of fiction media thing produced about it. But if we do lose everything, I doubt that thing would be allowed to be made, to be honest. And as Ivor says here, it's really easy to scoff at that kind of thing, right? Oh no, this is actually just drawings. Yeah, it's drawings. It's really easy to scoff at something like me saying, "Oh man, if Trump they take the election, we might not get to see a documentary or a biographical film about this moment or this, but it was easy to scoff at a lot of things before they happened in the last 6 years, 8 years. You know what I mean? If you would have told someone in 2014, 2013 that oh man, our next president, he's going to get impeached twice. He's going to, just rattle off a list of all this shit. He's going to have 91 felony counts of, against him. He's going to be found liable for sexual assault. He's going to be, you just say these things to somebody in 2013 and they'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's insane. That's stupid. but it happened though. No, I don't think that there's any guarantee that it won't happen. I mean, in fact, I know for a fact that they have been, the ways that they were not able to succeed last time, they're doing everything they have in their power, everything legal and illegal and extra legal, to try to make sure that they do it right or successfully this time. I think that if we are under the impression that we are safe, that it happened once, and then like, okay, well, thank God that's over. That is a mistake. That is a mistaken idea to have. There's a reason that I am still talking about fascism so much on this channel. It is not fucking over. It is not. And the Biden administration, for, there's a few things that I'm like, hey, good job on that. But by and large, I don't think they've done, maybe they have, and I'm just not aware of certain things, but like they have not done enough, from what I can tell, to dispel this. And like, in some ways, it seems like the way that they talk about it only emboldens the fascists. But I believe that we are still under siege by fascism, and we might be for the foreseeable future. Or maybe we find out in November that like actually it's just kind of a bunch of internet noise, and it's that the real dangers, the steam is, it's all gone. Don't know. But I think it's a mistake to rest. I think it's a mistake to just kick up your feet and go, thank God we got past that little bout of fascism, that attempt at it, Exactly. You can look, there's a lot of things that it's actually fucking concerning, man, because there's a lot of stuff that has happened since Trump lost, including Trump losing, that there's some direct correlations to how things played out in Nazi Germany. And, you can look into that stuff if you want to. Maybe I'll talk about it in another stream, but yeah. Oh, till 2030? Shit. Cool. Well, I mean, but he's Canadian. We can't trust that fucking guy. Like, come on. Yeah, they published a plan. That's true. And look, we're gonna be doing this on the Fapcast before too long, because it's, necessary. But you guys know about Project 2025? If not, you better know. You better start knowing. We're gonna tell you about it very soon. Project 2025 is well, it's basically like, if you want to know what might happen if Trump wins, what will his plans be? They're out there. Exactly what he wants to do, they're all out there. It's called Project 2025. Google it, look it up. There's videos about it. David Pakman is the first one I watched about it. Generally pretty good overview. So, I mean, prepare yourself, man. Do not make the mistake of thinking that like this is just a thing that might happen that's not going to affect you or whatever, because it will. In some way, shape, or form, even if it's affecting someone that you care about or someone close to you, on a long enough timeline, this will affect everyone if it is successful. So, anyways, sorry, I didn't mean to be sorry, man. I didn't mean to get so fucking like, all bummy at the end here. It's not my intentions. I didn't mean to bum you out, guys. You okay? Need a hug? Huh? All right. Oh man. You know what? Because I bummed you out, I'm gonna end with something kind of cool. And I might get a copyright claim for it, but I kind of doubt it. It's a really cool song. It's by a band that I've shown some music for on here before, but I really love them. And the singers, like, it's just fucking arresting vocal performances by the singer. This is a band called Nothing But Thieves. The song is called I'm Not Made by Design, and it is a live performance. And I hope you'll stick around and listen to a little bit of it and enjoy it. And if not, that's okay too. But also, fuck off. No, I'm kidding. Please hit like and subscribe, and show up Sunday for the Fapcast. It's going to be a good one, a real good one.
May Bill Gaines shine his heavenly light upon you and impregnate you with many happy days and joy fetuses. May your anuses be cleansed by the purifying light that exudes from Bill Gaines' eternal dragon phallus. Should you meet your mortal demise this day, go with comfort that you have satisfied the commands of the one true Bill. Those being this: read comic books. Fuck the dumb shit. Be yourself. Love each other. Also, read more comics and grow your hair out all goddamn while. Amen.